Hello and welcome to our intro to InDesign. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the file formats that are used in the design industry. We've gone over this some, but I just feel like it bears repeating. Okay, the first one that I have on my list is the JPEG. It's the Joint Photographic Experts Group. So this is good for websites and to compress the image and that sort of thing because it makes a really small file. However, I should warn you, if you repeatedly say open and save a JPEG, every time you open it, it's a little bit less than it was before. So you close it and save it again and open it again, and it's a little less until it's finally not really a usable image. This kind of shows you that example. This is really close. You can see that it's a small file because the pixels are really huge. So this is the first time you open it, and then you close it and you save it and close it. And here you start, when you open it again, you start noticing these little weird things going on. They call those artifacts. You save it and close it. Now, when you open it a third time, you are really beginning to lose a lot of this clarity here. And it just, so a JPEG is fine to put on the internet, but don't depend on it for print. Okay, the next one is a GIF, a GIF. It's kind of, I hear it being pronounced both ways. I don't know what's right. I've always called it a GIF. I guess because I like peanut butter. So it's a graphics interchange format. You can use these files for short little videos. I mean, like a 2-second loop of a video or something like that. And it's mainly used on websites and social media and things like that. So I have a GIF here. If you scan it with your phone, you'll be able to see it. I couldn't find a way to integrate that into Zoom because they don't really play well with others. So I just wanted you to see what I had there. Okay, the next one is a scalable vector graphic, or an SVG. These are used in website design, and it's because they are really stripped down, but yet they keep that beautiful vector resolution. In other words, no, it's perfectly good because it still has that beautiful clarity because it's based in geometry and math, and so it doesn't use pixels at all. Computer-aided applications like Cricut and CNC machines use SVG. It's okay for logos or graphics on a website. It's a smaller file, and you can even use some short animations with that too, with clearer resolution. The next one is the PNG, and I've had you use PNG quite a lot. It doesn't have the compression issues that JPEGs do, but yet it's a pretty small file. But the thing that I really like the most about a PNG is that it has the ability to have a transparent background. Um, JPEGs are simply only solid backgrounds. You can't have like a logo floating in the middle of nothing. It's going to have a white area or some kind of solid color behind it. So this is really, really good for websites having logos so that you don't have that amateur telltale white box around your logo. So be sure you take advantage of the PNGs. Okay, a TIFF, a tagged image file format. So this one is for really high resolution photographs. It is not the native file of Photoshop, which is PSD, but it is a very good high resolution file. Now, these are not going to be small files because you can absolutely use a TIFF with the layers. When you save it, you don't have to flatten everything into one layer like you do with JPEGs and TIFFs for that. I mean, and PNGs for that matter. You can keep the editability of the file so that you can go back and make corrections if you want to. Don't use them on a website because it would be very, very slow to upload your image. The next one is the zip file. The reason I include this one is because in the design industry, you're going to be sharing files with people. And Texas Tech has got probably one of the toughest email firewalls, I guess you would call it, that you can have. So if you send, especially if you send somebody a file format for a font, I don't remember right off the top of my head what those things are, what the extension is on a text, I mean on a font file, but for some reason they're very susceptible to the kinds of things that search for junk and for spam and that sort of thing on email uh, email servers. So if you have things that you're going to be sending people that you don't want to be messed with, basically, you can make a zip file, and I've shown you how to do that. And anytime I'm telling you to zip a file for to turn in, I will go over that again because I want to make sure that you know how to zip a file. It basically is just like putting a putting it in an envelope and sealing it up with some kind of seal that people can't open until it comes to the right person. So it's just really a good way to send files between people. And here's the really good thing about it. It makes, like, let's say you've got something that's really big, you zip it and it compresses that file without changing that file. Okay, so the seventh one I want to talk about is the PDF, or the portable document format. This is kind of like a zipped file, only you can open it without having to do anything special. It basically is the reason that I like using it is because when you, especially like in InDesign or Illustrator, if you send somebody a PDF, they can't edit your file unless you've got some kind of super uh, Acrobat Pro, and that's not something that a lot of people have. So you can send it, and they don't have to have the fonts on their computer. They don't have to do anything except open it, and they can view it exactly like you sent it to them. What you want them to see, they will see. They're easy to email and print and scan. So you can use it for resumes because you don't want somebody to send a Word document to somebody with your resume because it may reflow the text. It may not show some of the images that you wanted to show. So it just really retains the document's integrity. Okay. Now this is the third software that we've been working on. And so you have so many tools in your tool basket now. Which software should you use? Well, let's go over that just for a second. First of all, we did Photoshop. And now the blue circles are the good things to use Photoshop for. The ones with the white circles are the what some people consider the absolute best use. Okay, highest and best use, I guess. So you can see it's good for web icons, best for photo touch-ups and digital art, working with pixels it's best, and web page layout. It's also a very good solution. The ones that have the black X means don't ever, ever, ever do any of these things in Photoshop, especially like logo design or online publications. Those are absolutely a no-no. Illustrator. Now they have yellow dots for what they're really, really good at. So they're good at PDF presentations. They're fantastic for website icons. They're good for digital artwork. I would actually put a white stroke on that because I think they are phenomenal for digital artwork. They're also okay for online publications. They're not as dynamic as InDesign. I think you'll see as soon as we get into it that InDesign is much better with publications because that you're whenever you say publications, you're talking text, you're talking video, images, you're talking multiple pages. Logo design, it is absolutely fantastic with logo design. That is the go-to for logo design. And then web page layout, you can do that absolutely. Business cards, 3D elements, all of those things are really, really Illustrator's specialty. So let's talk about InDesign for a second. It is absolutely the best at PDF presentations. You can see with the three open a three across there, that it is absolutely the best for that. You can draw in InDesign, but it's not nearly as oriented to drawing. So I would keep it to simple boxes and things like that. So online publications, it is phenomenal, and I will show you how to do that. Working with pixels, I think that's a mistake. I don't know why that has a pink dot on it. Um, Multiple page documents, it actually should have a white line around that one. Multiple page documents, that's the only kind of software to use for it. And business cards, of course. So about InDesign. I say it's text-based because it thinks about how something is going to look. You know, you've got all these tools to make things look like a good designed page or a good designed poster. It's it's just phenomenal for print and layout design. And the thing that I like about it the most is you can do all your work in Photoshop and get these beautiful photographs. You can do a lot of work in Illustrator and get some beautiful logos and illustrations. And InDesign is where you put it together. And the reason is because you have so much control over text. It is so text oriented because it has the most finite control. It's also the best for multi-page documents because you remember how Illustrator has the multi-pages also, but it's just, you know, you just have them all laid out one next to the other. This actually makes it look like a magazine or a book when you use multi-page documents. And we will be creating a multi-page document today in our lab. So it's absolutely the best in the industry, bar none, for online and print documents. So what we're going to do in this lab, which is going to be the next video, is an overview of tools and an overview of the menu. Many of the icons are either exactly or so close to the other icons that you've gotten used to in the other software that it will be pretty intuitive for you. We're going to look at the right-hand side dialog boxes because there's a lot of information that you need to have at your fingertips over there. We're going to create a multi-page document, and we're also going to talk about how to print a multi-page document. Okay, so before we get started, I do want to introduce you to the world of envelopes. There are so many kinds of envelopes, and quite honestly, this is not a comprehensive list. This is just a simplified list so that it doesn't completely blow your mind. We're going to be designing an envelope. Sounds really complicated. It's not. Believe me, it's not. Basically, all we need to know for envelope design is the size that our printed piece will fit into. Don't think because your printed piece is a 5 by 7 that it's going to fit into an A6, which is not big enough for it to go into. The A7 is what we're going to use today because we are designing a greeting card, and it's going to be 5 by 7 whenever it's folded and stuffed into an envelope. So it has to be just slightly bigger inside the envelope so that it will fit. Okay. So if you have any questions, be sure to contact me, and I will see you in the lab.